Australia has experienced some of the fastest house price growth in the world. But one question keeps coming up again and again. Will Australian house prices ever actually fall? Many people are waiting for a crash. Others believe prices will keep rising forever. The truth sits somewhere in between. In this video, we are going to break down what would actually need to happen for Australian house prices to fall, why prices rarely drop for long periods, and what history tells us about where the market goes next. This is Southern Markets. To understand whether prices can fall, we first need to understand why they usually do not. Australian housing prices are supported by several powerful forces. When these forces remain in place, prices tend to hold, even during economic stress. The first force is interest rates. When interest rates are low, borrowing power increases. Buyers can take on larger loans with similar monthly repayments. This allows prices to rise. When interest rates increase, borrowing power falls. In theory, this should push prices down. But in practice, something else often happens. Instead of sellers accepting much lower prices, they simply choose not to sell. Transaction volumes fall, but prices remain sticky. This is why housing markets often slow before they fall. The second force is supply. Australia does not produce housing quickly. Construction takes time. Planning approvals take time. Infrastructure takes time. Even when demand weakens, supply rarely floods the market. This limits how far prices can fall. The third force is government policy. Australian housing is heavily protected. When prices fall sharply, governments tend to respond with stimulus, tax incentives, or interest rate cuts. These interventions are designed to stabilize the market. They may not be announced as housing support, but they often have that effect. The fourth force is household behavior. Most homeowners do not want to sell at a loss. If they can afford repayments, they will hold. Forced selling is what causes sharp housing crashes. This usually only happens when unemployment rises sharply and credit dries up at the same time. That combination is rare. So what would it actually take for Australian house prices to fall meaningfully? It would require several things to happen at once. Unemployment would need to rise significantly. Interest rates would need to stay high for a long period. Credit would need to become harder to access. And forced selling would need to increase. Without all of these factors, price declines tend to be limited and temporary. This is why Australian housing downturns usually look like slowdowns, not collapses. Prices may fall in real terms, meaning they grow slower than inflation, but nominal prices often recover. For buyers waiting for a dramatic crash, this creates a difficult reality. Waiting can feel sensible, but waiting indefinitely can also mean being permanently priced out. For existing owners, price stability reinforces the belief that housing is a safe long-term asset. This belief feeds back into demand. So will Australian house prices ever fall? Yes, prices can and do fall at times. But large, sustained declines are rare without severe economic stress. Australian housing is not designed to collapse easily. It is designed to be stable, even if that stability comes at the cost of affordability. Understanding this matters. Not because it tells you what to do, but because it helps set realistic expectations about how the housing market actually behaves. If you want clear analysis of Australian housing and markets without hype or speculation, subscribe to Southern Markets. More analysis is coming.